Hello, Mr. Horse here, at your service as always. In today's video, I would like to present part 6 of the great song Imagine by great Mr. John Lennon to you. And we are going to examine the last section, the third verse of the song, which promotes, or it's related to a different ideology. This is a socio-economic ideology. Imagine there's no possession. I wonder if you can. There's no need for greed or hunger. Brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You must say I'm a dreamer, but I am not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Now, this is a tough one. I mean, it's easier to imagine there is no God, especially for those people who don't have a tradition in the belief in a single God. Well, like the Chinese. Okay, we don't have that. That's not in our culture. I mean, we don't believe in a single God. Now, Buddhism does not believe in a single God. Okay, so it's different from Christianity. So that's easier because not everybody has that. It's a little harder to believe, to imagine that there is no countries, globalism, because everybody has a country, was born in a country, in a certain country. Yeah, I'm Chinese, you're American, you're Canadian, you're Australian, you're German, you're British, you're French, I mean, everyone. So it's harder to imagine there's no countries. And I talk about, there are a lot of problems. I'm writing a book about all the potential challenges of getting rid of the borders, When people can move freely from a country to another country, just freely, absolutely free. If I want to go to Germany, I can go to Germany. If I want to go to America, I can go to America. If I want to Canada, I can go to Canada. If I want to go to Taiwan, I can go to Taiwan. A lot of problems, with that theory. Now, this is the hardest one. I mean, imagine there is no possession. Imagine there's no possession. Yes. I wonder if you can. So, Mr. Lennon said, well, I wonder if you can imagine there's no possession, because I can't. Myself, I cannot imagine there's no possession, because I mean, it's a fact that private ownership is the most basic fundamental. I know I use the same words, over and over again, but I mean, I'm sorry, I can't think of better words. The most fundamental right in our society. I mean, this is my house. That's my car. This is my guitar. This is my guitar. Not your guitar. I own this guitar. I pay for this guitar with my money. So how can you imagine there's no possession? I mean, then who owns this guitar? Do we all own this guitar? I mean, this guitar is owned by everybody in the world. Now, Mr. Lennon had a lot of money. I mean, millions and millions of dollars. He owned a lot of things. I mean, huge, expensive houses. I mean, $1 million, a condo or mansion, whatever, Now, he paid for all these expensive things with his hard-earned money. I mean, being a Beatle, a member of the Beatles, was a very difficult job. I mean, if you know the history of the band, and it wasn't easy to earn that money, even though there's a lot of money, millions of dollars, or billions of dollars. It's still hard, and it's not easy money. So why should I mean, this is what Mr. Lennon is going to say. I mean, if you ask him, hey, Mr. Lennon, if we live in a society that has no private ownership, this institution, people don't own their own thing. What about your millions of dollars? I mean, are you saying that you are willing to surrender, to let go of that money? I mean, that huge amount of money, so we can have a communist society. Communism, social economic ideology. And a lot of people in the West, in America, strangely, a lot of very wealthy people. For example, Mr. Bernie Sanders, famous. I mean, such a outstanding senator, in America today, and he's himself a millionaire. I mean, I don't know how many million, but he's pushing for communism. Communism. Okay, we want communism because it's a fair society, just and fair, and also a lot of CEOs of huge multinational corporations. I mean, they're billionaires. I mean, and they're pushing for communism. Now, that's one thing I don't understand. Why would these wealthy people. I mean, if I was a billionaire or millionaire, I'm not going to promote, advocate, communism, because I don't want to give up my money, surrender my millions of dollars, put it in this central bank. I call it central bank. This is not a central bank. This is just central. Okay, everybody put your money in there. Okay. It doesn't matter how much you have, how much you own. Okay, because if we are creating a real, true, communist society, everybody have to let go of their, possession, no possession. So, if you own $10, you put your $10 in here, the central bank. If you own $20,000, you put your 20,000 in there. It's like donation, Okay. If you own $500 million, you put your 500 million there. If you own $50 million, you put the 50. If you own $2.5 billion, then you put your 2.5 billion. Everybody has to do the same thing, right? Otherwise, it's not a communist society. So, I'm just wondering. I mean, now Mr. Lennon, he couldn't imagine that. It's difficult for him to imagine because he has so much money. He's not going to give up. I'm curious. If you ask Mr. Bernie Sanders, sir, you're promoting, you really want to see America a communist society, communist, Do you plan to surrender, to let go of your millions of dollars to be a member of a communist society? Or do you plan to keep your millions of dollars and because you are special? I don't know. I mean, you are different. You are the elite or the governing, body. So you're exempt from this no private ownership rule. So you don't have to, give up your money. And those super wealthy, billionaires who are promoting communism, I think that's probably their idea too. You guys put your money, you little guys, you common people. You stupid common people. You guys put all your money in this central bank. But we are special. We are the elite. We are the smart people. We are going to be the, we are your guardians. Okay. We don't put our money in there because, we're exempt. We're not common people, little people like you. Is that a kind of communist society, a world that they promoting? I'm just curious. Because it's so anti-human nature. It contradicts with our most basic instinct. I just don't think that's gonna work. Sharing all the world. That's the first question I have about communism, because I'm very familiar with communism. I am personally affected by communism. Not just me, my father, my grandfather, my family, My father was from China, and in fact, my grandfather was a landowner in China in 1949. So when the communist revolution took place and became successful in 1949, he was executed by the communists because he owned land.